Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Please could you subscribe and also like and comment if you enjoyed this video. So in today's video I thought I would come on and go through basically the process and the recovery of my second C-section. Just to give you a little bit of an insight into my first C-section, it was a emergency C-section with Hallie, so it wasn't obviously planned. I did go into labour naturally, but after 22 hours of back-to-back contractions and then Hallie's heart rate dropped, it ended in an emergency cesarean section. The whole thing was just such a blur, to be honest, and it was definitely a scary experience. All I remember is being rushed into theatre and they were going to put me to sleep, but Hallie's heart rate did end up going back up, so that was good. So my partner was allowed in with me and it did feel a little bit better knowing that he was then by my side. So the recovery of my first C-section, it was really hard. I had to have my partner help me sit up in bed, and it was just like little things really. For the first week was the hardest week, and I had to have help doing everything. My partner helped me change Hallie's nappy and like pass me to Hallie, so when I could feed her. And then things like sneezing, oh my god, it's just intense, and I kept feeling like my wound was going to reopen. So I was just on edge through the whole first couple of weeks of being home. And then I also had to inject blood thinners into my leg, which I couldn't do myself. I had to get my partner to help me do that because I just couldn't face putting the needle in myself. So yeah, so that was just a little bit of an insight with my first, and the recovery actually from my first was really good in the end. The scar was lovely, it definitely healed within 6 weeks, and I was able to get back doing what I was doing anyways before that, so which was good. So now I knew with my second I wanted an elective C-section. I just didn't want to put the pressure on my body to go through all that again, even though I know it might have been completely different this time, and I might have been able to have the VBAC, but for personal reasons I chose to have the elective C-section, and it was just the best thing that I have ever done. It was just, yeah, the best thing that I decided for myself really. So the process was I spoke to my midwife and I said that I wanted the elective C-section. She then put me forward to see a consultant. So you have to discuss like all the stuff, basically all the possibilities, like the VBAC, and obviously why you wanted to have the elective C-section. So they go into and ask you obviously the reasons why, because obviously mine wasn't health reasons. It was more personal. So yeah, they just go into that, and then they go through like all the risks really, because obviously every surgery has risks, or even every natural births have risks. There's risks to everything, but obviously the more C-sections you have, the more risks there are. So we just went through that, and I said I'm still obviously happy to have the C-section. We also discussed things like what if I went into labour naturally before the 39 weeks, because you have your elective C-section around your 39 weeks, they do it a week early. So she said, oh well, if you go into labour naturally and you get to the hospital and you're already at like 8 or 9 centimetres, well, if it was that was the case, then I would definitely have tried to have a natural birth. But yeah, so we went through that with the consultant, and then basically she approved that and booked my C-section date, and I was able to get my midwife to confirm that to me, so I knew like the date that I was having it. And then they get in touch with you and let you know that obviously you have a pre-op 2 days before your C-section date, and at the pre-op, so you get your time and you go into hospital, so they take bloods from you and they do like a urine sample, basically kind of what they do at your midwife appointments. And then at that appointment, your pre-op, you get given tablets which you have to take like at the night or the day before, which they explained to you all the instructions. And then in the morning she gave me a drink that I had to take on the morning of the day that I'm having the C-section. And it was just really nice. Like, she just explained from start to finish what would happen. Like, you arrive and just go through all the details, and if you had any questions you could ask. And then once we arrived, we had to arrive at 7 o'clock on the morning of the C-section, and myself and my partner, we got there at 7 and we got shown straight away to a bed, and I got myself on a bed and just got settled. And then they said that basically the surgeon will do the rounds in the morning and explain to you what is going on and where you are on the list of his surgeries for the day. And that will be the point where he asks you if you've got any questions. You also have to sign a consent form, and then you also see the anesthesiologist, if I've said that right. And they also come round and they say hi and they introduce themselves to you, and they then ask if you've got any questions, and they explain what they're going to do. So obviously I was going to get a spinal block, and they just went through the process of that, which was really nice. And so once that happened, I was second, or was I third? I think I was third on the list. So I was like around early afternoon, I was due to go up. So obviously it's a long time. You get there for 7, and then actually I wasn't going in until early afternoon, and I couldn't have eaten from midnight the night before. So as you can imagine, a pregnant woman, I was literally starving. I was so hungry. So yes, it was just a lot of waiting around, but you have your partner there. We just sat there and chilled, played on our phones, and then when it was time, I opted to walk up to the theatre, which was just, from having an emergency the first time around to having it elective this time, it was just such a nicer experience. So I walked up there and I got obviously my gown on, and Lee got into his scrubs, and I then just walked into theatre, and it was just weird, so weird. And then I got to say, I was just like saying hi, everyone was so chatty, and then I sat on the operating table whilst she did my spinal block, and they was just chatting, and it was just like, I was looking around the room and I just didn't remember this from my first. So yeah, so once she put the spinal block in, I then laid down, and then they were just waiting around for the surgeon to come in, and then the surgeon came in, and honestly within 10 minutes, the quickest part is getting the baby out. So within 10 minutes I had my second baby girl, Harper, and I was able to have skin to skin with her because it wasn't an emergency, and we had the drapes lowered, and yeah, so she got put straight on me. You could also have your own music playing if you wanted to, or you can opt for the radio. I just did the radio as I wasn't even going to be paying attention to the music, to be honest. So yeah, so little Harper got laid on me straight away, so we had that skin to skin, which was just, it was just lovely. And then my partner got to cut the cords, and it was just a really beautiful experience. And then obviously it took a little bit of time after to stitch me up, so that's the most time, the time process is the stitching up afterwards. Once that's done, you literally then get wheeled into another room, so which they keep you in for about, I think about an hour, where they do make you some toast, so you can have, and obviously I'm gluten-free, and they have their own toaster for gluten-free toast, so I was so excited to have toast with marmalade on it. And they then just make sure they do like your blood pressure literally every 5-10 minutes, and they make sure that you're reacting well, and then you're starting to feel like stuff back in your legs again. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to mention, is that they put obviously the catheter in before obviously the operation, but they do it after you've had your spinal block. So when the catheter's been put in, you don't even feel that they're doing it. So yeah, so you're in this other room, and they're just monitoring you and your heart rate and your blood pressure. And then once they're happy with that, you then get wheeled back down onto the ward. And then at that point, obviously partners have to go by 10 p.m, which from the first time with Hallie, that was heartbreaking for me. I think I cried, and they just wouldn't let him stay. is really hard, especially that first time. Second time round, I knew kind of what to expect, and I knew that he would be going home around 10. But it was a good time for like me and Harbour to have that night and to get established into breastfeeding, and yeah. So that was basically like the process of my second elective C-section. And the recovery for this one, I wasn't scared this time. So I wasn't scared to stand up for the first time. I was like eager to do that literally the next day. So I got up, walked to the toilet, did my wee, because you have to wee in this pot and make sure, because once they take the catheter out, once you stand up, you have to go for a wee, and I think it's quite a lot of wee that you need to produce, and show them that you've done the wee. So yes, I wasn't scared at moving around. Obviously I was still cautious because you've just had major surgery, and still things like I had to have help sitting up, and like getting changed. I couldn't bend down and put my pants on. And then this time around I didn't have to have blood thinning injections, because there was no complications. It wasn't emergency, so I didn't need to do that. And yeah, so like within that first week again of recovery, I just felt like so much, I felt like I recovered a lot better this time around. I know that's not the case for some people, but I've got another lovely scar down there, so it's just one scar because they cut out your old scar. And yeah, still things like sneezing on the first week, coughing, I always had to like hold something, and going to the toilet as well. Like if you like go to the toilet the first time is horrible. But yeah, that was pretty much like the process and then the recovery, and I'm 9 weeks tomorrow post C-section, and I just feel great. I can pick everyone up again like Hallie, and I literally don't even feel like I've had surgery. So yeah, so if you have got any questions on anything, please pop in a comment and I will reply. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Sorry it was so long, but just wanted to make getting all the information I could. So yeah, so thanks.